First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
This podcast is sponsored by Ramp. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. RAMP.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
In studio right now is the vaccinated Rick E. Lewis. I don't know which mic you're on. Is it this
on
one
three.
here? Three.
I'm on three.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I just really quickly?
What are you guys fighting about?
They're
out
making. I mean, this is the best birthday Andrew's ever had. Not only did he turn 31 today, but a bunch of people told him he was right and I was wrong. So
It's not the first time that's happened, though.
I think it is. But anyway, so I was wrong on La Jolla. Tell me about the other text you got, Louis
Oosthuizen. So the pronunciation of it. And listen, if you watch enough,
you're wrong on that. I'm
no,
sorry,
if you
you're wrong on
watch
that.
enough
But anyway,
golf, the announcers say Oosthuizen.
I'll tell you, I have gum in this morning, and it's bothered me since I put it in.
Yeah,
and
us
yesterday, I know I'm going to get rid of it now. It's nicotine gum. I was going to try not to smoke. I feel like I'm mispronouncing words because
you're not smoking.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm going to take the gum out and I'm going to go smoke. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, it shows you the power of the nicotine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Rick, good morning. Good to have
morning.
you in studio. And we talked about this about a year ago during quarantine and shutdown and everything going on. You said you were working on a project, and now we've reached the point, right?
Well, we reached a point.
Okay. Is it not? Wait a minute. Is it not done?
Well, I wouldn't say.
It airs tomorrow.
Oh, no. The preview is done.
Okay.
However, whenever you do a production, and Bill, and everybody around here has done a production, there's always delays. Yeah. And you always can count on somebody being out. Hey, let's do interviews. Okay, it's COVID. Gee, I really want to wear a mask. I don't feel right. We're going to be, I can't be around other people because of COVID. And you get some, I'm not putting masks on the screen. So we won't do those. How about Zoom? A couple Zoom interviews, a phone. We're just not going to do any interviews until April.
I see.
Yes.
So what you're saying is it has been delayed because of COVID.
Well, that would be, anytime there's a production problem or production, it's not a simple problem.
I've been blaming it on COVID for years. COVID-16, COVID-12.
Hey, Bill, we need that tape up here on the hill in 20 minutes. COVID.
Yeah.
You mean
Man,
the show
this
airs
COVID thing? I got to tell you.
in 20 minutes and it's not done yet?
Rick, when we used to have the Keeler Show TV, and it was on in Fox, when Fox was in Rome, you were there, right, at that time?
At Fox 33.
There was one time, I swear to God, I'm coming down 49, and we got stopped. We were stopped by the police. Then I get back in the vehicle, and we're trying to get over to because the station was just off there by where you come in from Westbrook. And I called the master control, and I said, just throw in a couple of PSAs. I'll be right there. Honest to God. And they did, and then we came in, and they put it in, and the thing started at like 10:02.
Yeah, that's
My
cool.
Lord.
That was one of the most stressful moments in my intern days.
Yeah.
All right, get this up here. You're running in, driving up the hill. Who do I bring it to?
When we had to deliver it in person, right? Now I can electronically deliver everything. Although if you're doing an hour-long or a 2-hour thing, that makes for still a pretty long upload.
I have absolutely no idea how long the project will be.
So let me get this straight. You're not done. What is airing this weekend?
Well, we're airing a preview of major portions of it. But now here's the other part of the thing. Go back 50 years, and try to start pulling out information from something that hasn't been documented.
You're getting defensive. I'm not criticizing.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying in defense. I'm trying to explain.
I understand that.
You run into incredible stories, and you want to include them, but you have a block of 28:30 to fit it in.
Right.
So which do you leave in? Which do you leave out?
So this is going to be a half an hour program that you're doing here.
It's a half an hour, and basically it's a preview of what is in the.
Okay.
There's a lot more produced. It's just there's only so much can fit in the show.
I have a few clips here if you want me to play some things at some point.
Well, as I was saying, when you're going back and you're looking for stories, and one that we had actually talked about on the air was the Negro picnic at Sylvan Beach.
We did.
So I was talking to this woman.
So let's talk about the Negro picnic.
For those who don't know. Yeah.
For those who don't know, which was, I think you were as astounded by this.
Yeah.
We learned this from you.
Yeah, I was talking to the former mayor, one of the former mayors, Max Smith of Oneida. And then in the conversation, he mentioned it. And I go, what are you talking about? And he went on to explain that they had this annual picnic. That was the Negro picnic every year at Sylvan Beach. I go, I've never heard of this. How long did it go on? He goes, for a long time. And when I looked it up and I had talked to Lisa Matt over at the Jervis Library. Here's a newspaper article. In 1952, it had been going on for 57 years.
Wow. What was it, like the 57th annual?
Yeah, I think it was like 52. So how this relates to the show tomorrow. I was talking to this woman on the phone who was in her 90s. And I said, in the conversation, she brought up the fact that, I was asking her what kind of things they did, and she mentioned a couple, and she goes, and then there was the Negro picnic. And I went, you went to that? She goes, it was a glorious occasion. We would blah. I was like, holy cow.
Wow.
Has nothing to do with the story that I'm doing, but it was fascinating to hear a person who actually went to the
there.
event. And
because you couldn't believe there was such a thing.
Yeah.
It was like one day a month or something?
It was 1 day a year.
Wow.
And the thing is, by reading the stories in the paper, it didn't sound like that great of a thing, but she said it was a high point she looked forward to every year.
Yeah. Well, and you have a clip of that?
Yeah, there's an audio clip of her on the phone conversation I had.
Is that number 2 audio clip that you've sent me?
I sent 2 of them. I'm not sure which one.
I think this is it. Let's play it.
On a certain day,
they
had rides, the Ferris wheel, and everything. You could go anytime. But that was one special day. I think it was in July. The Castro's, it was a huge place where we used to dance. It was fun.
That's crazy. But she doesn't look at that as a negative. It was an exciting.
She said it was a great time. Yeah. It was just something they looked forward to every year.
Wow.
Did she say in the clip also you could go anytime, but this was a special occasion?
That's the other part of this.
Right.
I think.
Because when I talked to Max from Oneida, he had mentioned that you couldn't go. She said, "Oh no, you could go." And then I said, "Well, let's see, 1950s. Maybe you could go.
Right.
It wasn't against the law to go.
Yeah.
But, there's certain things you just, don't do. I mean, even to this day, do women just freely go into a certain place when it's not against the law to be there? But you better be accompanied with some people when you're going.
What are we talking about?
Well, I think that
today, entering a place, entering any place, it's legal to go some places, but I know what'll happen when I go there.
It's how I would say people feel when they go to one of those adult stores like across the street. It's like it's legal to go in there, but I don't know if I want to be seen going in there.
Yeah. Sort of.
That's a different thing.
That's
Sorry.
a different thing.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
But back in the day, a woman would not go into a bar. She'd be looked upon very negatively if a woman walked into a bar.
Even though it was legal.
Okay.
Right. It wasn't against the law, but if a woman walked into a bar, she was she was a hussy.
It wasn't against the law, but, it's something you just don't do.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's how I would kind of equate that. There was no law against that, but, there's probably some resistance to it, I would imagine. I'm guessing, since I wasn't there. But that's one of the things with going back this far, looking for that story doesn't really have anything to do with.
I'm going to ask you some questions though about the why was there a Rome? I'll do a lightning round here. Why was there a Rome? I guess I didn't know that there was a Rome NAACP and a Utica NAACP.
Well,
we're so merged today.
In Utica. Well, yeah, and because a lot of people that were in the Utica branch were actually from Rome because they were from the air base.
Oh,
See, when you think about the fact that the base was there, like a lot of things, like Rome had its own community, and they were shuttling back and forth to Utica, and they said, "Well, why don't we just have our own branch right here?"
I see. Okay,
and so then they had their own branch.
Okay, so this came somewhat later. I guess the NAACP came somewhat later.
I don't know the exact dates of the Utica one that existed, but this happened after there had been a Utica one for a while.
Okay,
they just decided to have one in Rome because there were a lot of people.
How did the killing of Martin Luther King come up? It would have to, right?
Well, it's not really on the topic that I'm talking about the history of the local chapter.
Well, I'm kind of wondering how they reacted to that, but that's not a part of that.
I didn't really address those kinds of things. I was, Bill, you've done these kind of operations.
I have, yes.
And if you don't funnel down and right down to the point,
absolutely right.
You can make a 12-hour miniseries. You could make Ken Burns look like a 5-minute sitcom.
You're going down a really, really large rabbit hole. That just keeps going and going.
Yeah, and this story, when this woman was telling me all these things, I said, "This is fascinating. I can't use anything, but it's really fascinating."
Yeah.
So, as I found more about the NAACP from those days, I could find stories that I just never, you don't think of. You put yourself into that time period.
Give me one story that was a gem for you, something you discovered that you were shocked.
Well, it wasn't as much of a shock as, I guess it was. I just never thought of it. When you put yourself in that time frame, I was looking for some information about, what caused people to want to have this organization.
Yeah.
And then first off, they moved because there were a lot of people from Rome. But I go, but